Hey there, welcome to Be Unmessable with the podcast. I'm your host, Josselyne Herman-Saccio, and today let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me because sex is a big topic for people. I work with people one-on-one, and I mean, that sounds odd in the context of this conversation, but when I work with my one-on-one coaching clients, oftentimes in their relationships, one of the things that they want that they don't currently experience having the ideal situation in is sex. Either they want more sex or they find themselves not wanting sex and they don't know why and they can't seem to break through it. So I wanted to dedicate an episode to this because, sex is something that pretty much everybody deals with. And I think that most people think that sex causes intimacy. Like if I have sex, then I'll have intimacy. But I'm going to propose a different view around the whole world of sex and intimacy. So consider that great sex is a function of great communication. Great communication is what causes the intimacy, not the sex. There have been times, most likely, if you look in your lifetime, if you are an adult, that you have had sex and it wasn't intimate. It was a physical act, and not saying that it was bad or good, it just wasn't an expression of love or intimacy. And then conversely, if you look in your life, there have been times where you have been in such a close communication with someone. Maybe it was somebody that you were working with or a best friend, and there was such a sense of intimacy present, yet there was no sex. So therefore, do the math on that one. It's the communication and the openness and the honesty that leads to intimacy. So if you are having issues in your sex life, so maybe you're with somebody, you've been with them a while, and you find yourself not wanting to have sex, and you're just like, I just don't feel it, I just don't want to. Here is my recommendation: get in communication. Don't get into bed yet. Get into communication. There is something that you either stopped communicating, there's something you're hiding, there's something you're avoiding talking about. There's something that is hampering your full communication, which in essence is full connection, which ultimately is sex. So if you want to unlock and unleash your sex life, you need to first unlock and unleash your communication with that person. So now how can you do that? Well, one thing is you could start listening to the person. Oftentimes when we're with people for a period of time, we stop listening to them. We just, kind of perfunctorily go, yeah, uh-huh, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But we're not really deeply listening like we were when we first met them, with a sense of wonder and a sense of just all inness, where you are fully focused on what that person is saying, like discovering who they are. Because after a period of time of being with someone, we stop discovering who they are and we start to relate to them as who we quote unquote know that they are. The minute you know your partner, then the possibility of discovery has just died. There is no discovering something that and it would be a really smart thing to do if you're committed to increasing and elevating your intimacy in your relationship, is to take on a lens of discovery. Find out about that person. Don't come from your past view of the person. Actually get curious and start to discover the person you're with. Find out what's important to them. What's important to them today might not be what was important to them a year ago, just like what's important to you today might not be what was important to you a year ago. The other thing is to share with that person. Share with them your dreams, your goals, your vision for your life, for your family, for your career. Start to have the kind of conversations that you did when you first met each other and the sex was hot and heavy. It's not because you physically looked different. I mean, you might have, depending on how long you've been together, but that's not the source of it. The source of it is the communication, the connection through the communication. And look and see if there's anything you're hiding, anything you're not saying, anything you haven't communicated fully. It could be something that happened, 3 years ago. You flirted with someone at a bar and you never told them, or, you started to experience feelings for somebody at work. And even though it didn't, go anywhere, you never mentioned it. So it's like you're concealing something. When you're concealing something, you can't be open and connected. Think of it just from a physical perspective. If you're hiding part of your body, you can't be open and connected with that part of the body. So if you're hiding part of yourself, if you're hiding something that is, there in the space of your relationship, then there is no space for open, honest, free communication. So I would recommend scheduling weekly sex communication sessions. Let's call it that, sex communication sessions, which may or may not end up with a physical sex happening, but definitely would start with the communication part. What are you hiding? What are you avoiding saying? What are you afraid to communicate? What part of your visions and dreams have you not communicated? What have you not been listening to in your partner? And really be available during these to actually hear what they have to say, hear what their dreams and vision are for their life, for your family, for your relationship, for their career. Start to get to know your partner again. Discover, be curious, and let me know what you discover. I mean, you don't have to give me too much information, but I will respond to every email. And here's to great communication, great intimacy, and ultimately great sex. See you on the next episode of Be Unmessable With, the podcast.